Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So let's just get right into it. I have here the James Charles palette. As soon as this came out, it was announced that this is coming out. All of you who know me saw the colors that are in it, were saying, are you going to do a video on it? I said, yes, I am. So here I am to do that video. And because this is going to be a long one, let's just get right into it. So this is the James Charles palette in collaboration with Morphe. And as you guys know, there just can't be a Morphe collaboration without some type of drama surrounding it. And the drama that was surrounding this palette, look at it. Look at the colors in it. The drama that was surrounding this palette is that in James's video, he mentioned that he would recommend you use a MAC paint pot, or basically just an eyeshadow primer, a product that was made specifically to prime your lids. As you guys know, nowadays it seems like everyone uses concealer to prime their lids before doing eyeshadow. So everyone was like, I shouldn't have to change how I naturally do it. It's just a recommendation. How does it work better? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to do a look using my regular routine, which is an actual eyeshadow primer. It's not a MAC paint pot, although I do think I have one, but it is the Fenty primer, which I already have on my eyes. And then I'm going to wash my face off after I do the first look and do a second one using concealer just to see what the deal is. So let's get into it. I should also mention that the first look is Rocio inspired. She does the butterfly cut crease. Is that what she calls it? So I'm going to attempt that today. For the first time, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to start out with this blue shade right here called Cola. Ooh, am I in focus? Okay, I'm going to start out with this shade right here, Cola. Okay, so she says you start out by basically making a round shape. I'm just going to place the color where I think I want this to go and see if I'm doing that correctly. So I'm just packing the color on for right now. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the shape it's supposed to be. So using a Luxie 227, I am going to start blending, adding more color. Y'all see what I'm doing. I'm just doing this. Actually, I thought about it. We're going to make the entire lid blue, so let me just go ahead and dust that on. So switching to this Anastasia A25, I'm going to take this purple shadow on top of the blue. Okay, now if I saw correctly in her video, first you just kind of, again, map it out where you want it, which is going to be on the edges of the blue. And then you kind of want to just start blending the edges together around the whole rim of that round blue circle that we drew. And then we're going to take this green shade, kind of like a brow highlight, kind of not, kind of mixing it the same way we did the first two colors in that round shade. Scratch that. I'm going to take this yellow shade, kind of like a brow highlight in the same area where I already started putting the green. Lightly brush it around, taking it to the front, which is why I'm like, it's kind of like a brow highlight, but it's kind of not. So pretty much the same thing that we did. First time's just blending it on the edges of the second color that's there now. And now put that green on top of the yellow. Okay, so I've cut my crease. This is why, she calls it butterfly. Now I'm going to start filling it in, first using the same yellow. I'm just going to pack the color in right there. Alrighty then, and now that same green, orange, and we're going to finish it off with black. Very carefully though, because this could go left real quick. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, finish the rest of my face, and then I'm going to finish the rest of this eye look. Okay, so to wrap this look up, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the brows by putting the yellow in my corner first, and then the green right on top of that. And then I just aligned my bottom lash line with the same blue that is on my lid, and that is it for the first look. Let me know how I did with my first attempt at a butterfly cut crease. I hope I did Rocio well there. So now for me to go wash all of this off and move on to look number 2. Okay, so we're back for look number 2, and like I said, this one's going to be using a concealer. If you saw my PR haul, I got the new LA Girl Pro Concealer in white, so I figured, got a colorful palette here. Best time to test this color out and see how this works as an eye primer. I know a lot of people use the actual complexion shades of this concealer to prime their eyes, so Let's go. Okay, so we're gonna take this same yellow, all right? And just like the first look, because I'm not sure what we're going for here, we are going to start placing her first before we start blending. Blend her out in swiper motions and circle motions. And a little below that, all right, we're gonna take this orange, just blend that out. Now I'm gonna take this red and put that red. Now I'm gonna take this red and put it in my crease. And blend. I felt that yellow was a little too yellow, so I ran some orange over it. Now I'm gonna take this pink shade right here from my lid, and let's just pat that on. And then for my outer corner, I'm gonna use that same darker purple that I used in the first look. You girls just too lazy to pick the palette up again. So with the outer color, since it's usually a darker one, I always pack the color on first, and then we get to blend it. Alrighty then, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face. Okay, so I took this little wand here and this blue liner from Urban Decay and just stuck myself in the eye. Now I'm gonna take this pink liner here and do the same thing. And just push that in all over, not just my eye, but also the areas surrounding it. And that is it for the second look. I don't know if I mentioned it. Actually, let me go ahead and open this palette up because I can't remember. But for my bottom lash line, I use this blue right here. And now for my thoughts on this palette. So there are shades in here, you know, more so down here for the everyday makeup wear, you know, soft glam, natural glam, browns, reds, warms, all that good stuff. I didn't really, you know, touch those because y'all just know that's not really me. This is more of a colorful palette, and those are the shades that I use. But I do think it's nice that you pretty much have the best of both worlds in one palette. It's a rather large palette, so that might make traveling, you know, a little but again, I'm here for the color theme of this palette. Now, as far as using the palette in the way that I normally would with the eyeshadow primer, I didn't really find much issue there. I feel like the colors blended. I feel like they were still pigmented, even though, you know, the base for the eyeshadow primer was not as bold as this look that's on my eyes right now. Funny thing is, I actually got to use concealer twice in this look, because although I did use an eyeshadow primer in the first look when I cut my crease, those colors that I put in the little butterfly wings were on top of concealer, so I've gotten to use concealer twice now, 2 different concealers. As far as using it the normal way that I would, I didn't really have any issue. I liked the palette. With concealer, I feel like some of the colors stuck a little bit, like they stuck a little bit where I applied the eyeshadow, and I did I set this concealer with powder. Did I set the crease that I did? I do believe I set the crease, but they were still a little, you know, like the edges around those areas were still a little bit wet. So I feel like the areas that weren't set with powder the best with concealer had a little patchiness to them with the eyeshadows. However, all in all, I feel like even on concealer, the colors still blend well together. They don't, you know, mix into like muddy shades or anything like that, and they don't really feel like they oxidize. The yellow, you know, I'm side-eyeing the yellow a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's just, you know, like this palette, or because it's a yellow and, you know, it's very hard to find any type of yellow that isn't going to oxidize like that. But before I put the orange on the yellow in this look, I feel like it still looked yellow. So I don't know if I feel like there's that big of an oxidizing thing there. I just feel like with concealers, you have to really like set your concealer so that it's not picking up eyeshadow in some places and not picking up eyeshadow in other places. With the white concealer for this look that I have on my face right now, I feel like the colors are I was gonna say a lot more vibrant, but I feel like even in the first look that I did, the colors were still pigmented. I feel, you know, having it be white might make it a little bit bolder, maybe, but with concealer, with the eyeshadow primer, I feel like colors were still pigmented on my skin tone, which, you know, would be the biggest thing that I'd be worried about using a colorful eyeshadow palette. And yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. I mean, I use an eye primer to begin with, so I'm gonna keep using it that way. If you do use concealer, I would suggest setting it really well before you go in with the eyeshadow. I use the Fenty blotting powder to set my concealer and my eye primer. Even when I'm not using concealer and I use my regular eyeshadow primer, I use this bad guy right here to set my eye primer. It's pigmented. I feel like they blend well. Oh, the palette retails for $39, I believe. I feel like this is kind of the more colorful sister to the 39A. If you guys have that, I have that palette. Let me hold on. So this palette right here, this one's kind of thicker. Like feeling it. This palette's a little bit thicker than James, but this is what the two palettes look like next to each other. I feel like if you like this, you'll like this one. If you guys saw the video that I did using Morphe's recent Social Butterfly, I said like I feel like some of their palettes are a little bit hit or miss. That one was closer to the, you know, miss side. I'd have to say this one's a little bit closer to the hit side. One more thing, I like that it's black. Y'all know Jacqueline's palette is white, and aesthetically it is very nice to look at, but I just hate white packaging. I'll always pick up these ColourPop containers. I just hate white packaging, so I like that it's black. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. So that is it for this video. I hope seeing me do 2 looks in one video with the same palette has helped. If any of you were thinking of checking this palette out for yourself, make sure to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe down below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!